We have a new NASCAR team joining the Xfinity Series in 2021. Many Cup Series teams are confirming their Daytona 500 entries and their drivers for the 2021 Daytona 500. And we got some number changes as well and some more news to talk about in today's episode. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We've got a lot of NASCAR stories to discuss here today on the channel. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it because there's like a lot to talk about. So the first story we're going to talk about is Cody Rohba, as he'll be returning to CR7 Motorsports in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2021, driving the 9 car for 16 races in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series in 2021. Cody Rohba scored 2 or 3 top 10s in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2020, driving the 9 car, including a top 5, actually 2 top 5s in 2020, including a 3rd place finish in the Daytona season opener for the NASCAR Truck Series. Hopefully Cody Rohba can do well in the 16 starts he has in 2021, and I'm glad that Cody Rohba will be returning to the Truck Series in 2021. On to the next story. Hailie Deegan will be moving from the number 17 to the number 1 truck for DJR Racing in 2021. Her merchandise was revealed early last night, and she will be driving the 1 truck for DJR Racing in 2020 from the number 17. Now, DJR Racing, not DJR Cross anymore, is planning on revealing all their driver lineups either Thursday or Friday later this week, but she will be driving the number 1 truck for them in 2021. Honestly, I like the number very well. I think it's a cool number for Hailie Deegan, and that will be her number for the 2021 Truck Series season. On to the next story. Keith McGee is going to be driving the number 33 for Ray Brothers Racing at Richmond International Speedway. Now, Keith McGee was actually supposed to, I believe, make his Truck Series debut last year at Talladega Superspeedway, but because of COVID and sponsorship issues, he was not able to make his official debut in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2020. So he will be making his debut in the NASCAR Truck Series at Richmond International Speedway. Now, there is a possibility Keith McGee may run more races in 2021, but Keith McGee will be making his debut to Truck Series at Richmond. Hopefully he can do very well. The Ray Brothers trucks are generally not very fast. Hopefully Keith McGee can do well, and good luck to Keith McGee going into the 2021 season. And now we're going to discuss all the stories from today. There's a lot to get into. The first story we're going to talk about is Mane and Tail, as they will be coming back to sponsor Quinn Houff in the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series, not NASCAR Xfinity Series, the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season, at least for the Daytona 500 and many other races in 2021. They sponsored Quinn Houff this past year in 2020, and they will once again come back. This game looks really cool. Mane and Tail's been really good with the fans, so it's glad to hear that Mane and Tail will be coming back to sponsor Quinn Houff for the 2021 season. On to the next story. Dixie Vodka is going to be sponsoring Cole Custer for 2 Cup Series races in 2021 at Nashville Superspeedway and the Daytona Road Course, the second race of the 2021 season. Cole Custer's scheme looks really, really awesome. The Dixie Vodka scheme I really, really like, and I'm really happy that they're going to continue to sponsor in NASCAR this upcoming season. I'm really happy that they're going to sponsor Cole Custer in 2021. Again, I really like the scheme. I think it looks like a really good paint scheme. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode. Pre-race concerts are going to be returning once again for the 2021 Daytona 500, and Luke Combs is going to be performing for the pre-race concert at this year's upcoming Daytona 500. Luke Combs is arguably one of the biggest country singers currently at the moment. I like Luke Combs a lot. I think many of you are big fans of Luke Combs as well. And I think that Luke Combs will put on a really good performance for the pre-race concert at the Daytona 500. I like Luke Combs quite a bit. On to the next story. Mason Diaz is going to be going full-time with Visconti Motorsports in the ARCA East Series in 2021, driving a 74 car for them full-time. Tommy Baldwin will be the crew chief for him for the full season in 2021. Now, last year, Mason Diaz competed full-time in the ARCA East Series full-time, and he ended up finishing 5th in the ARCA East Championship. Mason Diaz, I think, is a very, very talented driver, and I think in 2021, I think he'll put up arguably a really good year. I think he has a shot at winning the championship if those Visconti Motorsports cars can do very well. And good luck to Mason Diaz in 2021 in the ARCA East Championship. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as Taylor Gray was fined $1,000 and placed on probation for the 2021 ARCA season for using a cell phone to record a video at the Daytona ARCA test. If many of you have not heard over the weekend, I didn't talk about this past weekend, but Taylor Gray was caught on Snapchat using his phone tests during the ARCA test past weekend. Now he's 15 years old, so 15-year-olds are allowed to test at Daytona International Speedway in the ARCA series. Taylor Gray was caught on his cell phone driving around on his cell phone, driving around the racetrack. Now, he was the only car on the racetrack, but you cannot, according to the rules, you cannot have a cell phone or you cannot have an unapproved camera in your race car to show off. And Taylor Gray was caught doing this, and I just have to say that what Taylor Gray did was absolutely stupid, and you can't do that. You just can't do that. And he's 15 years old, and he's making mistakes like this. I mean, I think it's a fair penalty. I think $1,000 is small, and if it was in the Cup Series, he'd probably get a bigger penalty, like a $25,000 fine. But I think the penalty is fair, and it's just. And I didn't want him suspended or anything, but I think he needed a little bit of a penalty for that. They had talked to him over the weekend about his stupidity. He knows he made a mistake, but hopefully Taylor Gray can learn from this. And I think he's only 15 years old, so he's got time to learn from this. But hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake again. I do think that they need to make the ARCA test 16 years older. I don't think anyone should be testing under the age of 16, but yeah, I think it's a fair and overall a good penalty in the NASCAR gave. I didn't want him suspended or anything. I know some people were wanting him to be suspended, but I think he got a fair and just penalty, and I think NASCAR did a good job on that front. And on to the next story. Vinnie Miller is actually going to be running part-time for Beijing McLeod Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2021. He will be driving the number 99 car for that organization in 2021 in a part-time starts. The number race sponsorship has not been announced currently at the moment, but we now have confirmation that Vinnie Miller is going to race for that organization in 2021. We already know a few drivers that have already been confirmed for that team, like Stephen Parsons has also been confirmed for that team as well. And it's really cool that we're going to see Vinnie Miller come back. Vinnie Miller drove for that team this past year. I don't remember if it was part-time or full-time in 2021. But it is really cool that Vinnie Miller is getting, once again, an opportunity to run with that team. And good luck to Vinnie Miller heading into 2021 with Beijing McLeod Motorsports. Now we're getting on to the next story of this episode. We're going to talk about the new organization called Big Machine Racing. That is correct. Big Machine Records owner Scott Borchetta's organization is starting its own Xfinity Series team that will debut at this upcoming season's NASCAR Xfinity Series season. It will be a full-time team in 2021. Jay Buford will drive the number 48 car for that organization in 2021. They are, like I said, going to be a full-time organization. In all things I did not expect another pretty big-time entry in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Now, I don't know how good they're going to be. I don't know what backing they're at. I believe Patrick Donahue is going to be the crew chief for this organization in the 2020 NASCAR Xfinity Series season for them in 2021. Jay Buford, he had some decent starts this past year. I think he drove for SS Greenlight this past year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He had some decent runs for them. So, yeah, very interesting. You got Pitbull coming to NASCAR. You've got other cars, you got people like Pitbull coming in this sport. You got people like Scott Borchetta coming in this sport, and people like possibly Floyd Mayweather coming in. It's really cool. I think NASCAR overall is on the up and running at the moment. I think it's really awesome that Big Machine Records is going to be opening up a race team. Again, my expectations overall for them, since they're kind of a new startup team, I really don't have the highest expectations for them going forward in the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season, but I think it is really awesome to have Big Machine Racing, another organization with high profile coming in. I think it's really, really awesome. And I like the car a lot as well that they've shown. And I think it's really awesome to hear that they're going to have a team that's going full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2021. And you think that is the biggest story of the day, but there is still a lot to go over. Next thing we're going to talk about is Jamie McMurray. Yes, you heard that right. Jamie McMurray is going to be driving not full-time. He's going to be driving in this year's upcoming Daytona 500 in the number 77 car for Spire Motorsports for this year's 2021 Daytona 500. Now, this car will be a Chip Ganassi prepared race car, and Avid Health will be the major sponsor for them in 2021 at this year's Daytona 500. Now, there was a lot of confusion regarding this because a lot of people thought that Justin Haley was going to be driving the 77 car for them in this year's upcoming Daytona 500. But since Spire Motorsports has worked with Chip Ganassi in the past, I really am not surprised. And it's really cool that a former winner of the Daytona 500, Jamie McMurray, won the Daytona 500 in 2010, is going to be coming out of retirement and at least racing in this year's upcoming Daytona 500. Now, Jamie McMurray, he's already locked into this year's upcoming Daytona 500, so there is no worries in regards to him missing the race. And I think Jamie McMurray, in all honesty, I think he has a really good shot of winning this year's upcoming Daytona 500, especially with how good he is at super speedways. And with this being a Chip Ganassi back car and a Chevy back car as well, and the Chevys are getting the ECR and Hendrick backings, the new engines that are coming in. I think that Jay McMurray will do quite a bit with this team in 2020. I'm really overall excited for this because, again, it's really cool that Jay McMurray is coming out of retirement for this year's upcoming Daytona 500. And people are concerned about Justin Haley, if he's going to run this year or not with this team. Justin Haley is expected to run more races in 2021 with this team. It just hasn't been confirmed what races are. Apparently, the 77 car is going to be like an all-star car with multiple drivers. I assume Justin Haley will run multiple races, but since they're chartered, I would assume drivers like Reese Sorensen and Garrett Smithley and maybe James Davison at points, so he'll be driving for Ricker Racing at points this year. I'm going to assume that they will probably have more drivers announced in the future, but it's really awesome that Jay McMurray is going to come out of retirement. I did not 100% expect this to happen, but I think it's really exciting Jay McMurray is going to come out of retirement and race in this year's upcoming Daytona 500. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as Josh Bliggy is going to be going full-time with Ricker Racing in the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season, driving a 52 car full-time in 2021. So I expect Josh Bliggy to be going full-time for the points as well for the championship as well, though I don't expect this car to do much. I think this is really cool for Josh Bliggy. Josh Bliggy, I think, is a very, very underrated driver, and I think in 2021, I think he is going to do very, very well this upcoming season. He's overall a very underrated driver. I've seen him do really good in not that great of equipment. I've seen him do really well, especially in the Xfinity Series when he's driven for BG McCall Motorsports in the past. I think he's been able to do really well over there in the past. And I think in 2021, I think Josh Bliggy will have some really good, strong runs overall for that team in 2021. What are my expectations for Josh Bliggy? I think overall, Josh Bliggy, I think he's going to put up together a solid year with this team. Again, Bliggy, I think, is a very talented driver. They've got Cody and Josh Bliggy full-time on that organization. I think both those guys are going to do pretty well with that team. And hopefully Josh Bliggy can do well, it seems. I think he honestly deserves it. He's been doing well. He has some decent runs with the Tommy Baldwin team, so I think he got some top 30s last year with this team. And, these cars, I think, could be capable, especially with Josh Bliggy's ability. I know the Ricker cars are generally not that fast, but I think in 2021, I think Josh Bliggy could bring a lot to the table for this organization. I think it's really exciting to hear that Josh Bliggy is going to be going full-time with them. And I'm very excited to hear this news about Josh Bliggy because I think he can do a lot with this team, and I'm really happy that he will be going full-time with this team in 2021. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as we're going to talk about the Drivers' Edge Clash that was announced for the 2021 season. So, the drivers that are going to be returning to the Drivers' Edge Clash for 2021 are going to be Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed, Tyler Ankrum, Noah Gragson, and Sam Mayer, who will all be returning. Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed, Tyler Ankrum all drive for GMS, and this whole Drivers' Edge program is a battle between Junior Motorsports, GMS, and Chevy as well, so it's no surprise there. And Noah Gragson and Sam Mayer are going to be both with Junior Motorsports, so that's why they both will be returning to those programs in 2021 as well. So it's really cool that those guys are going to be back. I think all 5 of those guys are generally talented. I think they'll do well with that, with their backing as well. The drivers that are going to be joining the Drivers' Edge program in 2021 are going to be Chase Purdy, who will be driving the 24-23 truck, I think, for GMS in 2021. Rafael Estrada will be driving the 24 truck full-time for GMS in the Truck Series. Jack Wood, who will be driving the 78, driving, I think, the 21 car for GMS in the ARCA Series. And Will Cox, I really don't know about much. I don't know what car he's driving, but Will Cox will also be joining. So they got a really cool class this year. I think the class is really, really good. And basically, this is like Chevy's development program. You know how Toyota has TRD? Drivers' Edge program is basically Chevy's version of TRD. And I think all these guys are really good. And good luck to all of them in 2021. And really great to hear that they're going to be joining the Drivers' Edge class in 2021. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as we're now going to go and talk about the Speed Week schedule that is going to take place for 2021. There will be no clash practice that is going to take place, but there will be one 50-minute practice on Wednesday and also qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series as well on that same day. So there's going to be a couple practice sessions that will take place for NASCAR Cup Series. Then on Saturday, there will be two 50-minute practice sessions on the Saturday races, practices that day. Trucks practice is going to be 50 minutes on Thursday, and then Xfinity practice only session will be on Friday. Now, there will be qualifying for the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series as well, so there will be that as well. I think Speed Week schedule works very well. I think it makes a lot of sense. It was expected that we will have practice qualifying for the Truck Series, Cup Series, Xfinity Series for Speed Weeks, but it's really cool that they have 100% confirmed that. And it's awesome to hear the Speed Weeks is pretty much set for the weekend, and good to hear that we'll at least have practice qualifying for those specific races in 2021. And really cool to hear Speed Weeks is set for 2021. And now we're getting on to the next story of this episode, as a driver, another former Daytona 500 winner, as a matter of fact, is going to be coming out of retirement to race in this year's Daytona 500 for Rickrow Racing in the number 15 car. That is Derek Cope. As I just mentioned, Derek Cope is going to be competing in this year's Daytona 500 with Rickrow Racing in the 15 car, and it will be a Starcom repair car. So Starcom and Rickrow Racing will be working together, and Pat Tryson is going to be the crew chief for them, and Jacob Companies will sponsor. The last time Derek Cope raced the Daytona 500 was all the way back in 2004. Now, Derek Cope attempted to make the Daytona 500 in 2006, but he ended up failing to qualify for the Daytona 500. So this will be the first time that Derek Cope has raced in the Daytona 500 in 16 or 17 years. Derek Cope, for those who don't know, also won the Daytona 500 in 1990 after Dale Earnhardt had a flat tire. He went up to the high side, and Derek Cope made the pass for the Whitcomb Racing Team when he got 2 wins in that season, and Derek Cope will be coming out of retirement. Derek Cope also works, I believe, is like the managing role for Starcom Racing. He's kind of like an owner, but also the manager for that team. So it makes sense that they're going to be basically back together. So you're technically going to have Starcom and Rickrow Racing work together. Now, Derek Cope will not have to qualify for this year's Daytona 500 because he is locked in the Daytona 500 because that 15 car is a chartered car. So the 15, 51, 52, I don't know about the 53 car, but Derek Cope will be locked in Daytona 500. What are my expectations for Derek Cope? Again, I think anyone can win the Daytona 500 if they are there at the end of the race. And I think Derek Cope will have a really good shot of winning this year's Daytona 500. And honestly, good luck, Derek Cope, and hopefully he can do well with the team. But it's also really awesome here that Derek Cope is going to be competing in this year's Daytona 500 with Rickrow Racing. And now we're getting on to the final story of this episode. As this report that I talked about this past weekend, Ty Dillon is officially going to be attempting this year's Daytona 500 for the number 96 team for Gaunt Brothers Racing in the 2021 season. Now, last week I had reported on the weekend, Friday as a matter of fact, that Ty Dillon was looking to attempt this year's Daytona 500 for Gaunt Brothers Racing and the Daytona Road Course as well. Now, Ty Dillon will have to qualify in for this year's Daytona 500 because of the fact that Gaunt Brothers does not have a charter. So that car is an unchartered car, and Ty Dillon will have to qualify for this year's upcoming Daytona 500. I think Ty Dillon's a pretty solid super speed racer. If this 96 team has enough speed and they can make it in, I think Ty Dillon can have a pretty strong run in the Daytona 500. But like I said, they will have to qualify for this year's Daytona 500. Another interesting thing to note is that team might also do the Daytona Road Course, Talladega, and the other road course races. They are planning on doing that, but it really is going to depend on how much sponsorship Ty Dillon is able to bring to that organization for 2021. So that is going to be the major question in regards to if Ty Dillon is able to race in this more races or not. But at least that Ty Dillon will be racing in this year's upcoming Daytona 500 for Gaunt Bros. That is, of course, if they are to make it into Daytona 500. Ty Dillon, it is a shame that Ty Dillon really isn't able to run full-time for this team, but one of the big reasons why Ty Dillon is not running full-time is the money, the sponsorship. And Ty Dillon really doesn't have sponsorship because, remember, he drove for the Geico team, the Germain Racing, and Geico was on that team from the beginning. I don't know if Twisted Tea was a brand with Ty Dillon before or not, but I think that it's really cool that Ty Dillon is getting an opportunity with the team. Yeah, really awesome here. Ty Dillon is going to get an opportunity to go full-time with this team, and not full-time, go part-time with the team. I think that Ty Dillon can bring a lot to the table for this team, and hopefully the Gaunt Brothers team can make it in. They're going to try to qualify on Wednesday night, and yeah, congratulations, Ty Dillon, having an opportunity to go and drive for the team for Gaunt Brothers. Hopefully he can get more ride time with this team. I would assume that there probably are going to be more times that he'll be able to drive for this team in 2020, and hopefully he is able to find more sponsorship so he can go run some more races, at least run a couple more races with this team in 2021. Woo! So, anyway, that is all the NASCAR news that I have for today's episode. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications so you get me notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Link description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about Jay McMurray and Derek Cope, former Daytona 500 wins coming out of the Daytona 500? Are you excited about both those guys being in this year or not? Let me know in comments below. What are your thoughts about Dillon also running this year's Daytona 500 for Gaunt Brothers Racing for the Daytona 500? Let me know in comments below. Tomorrow, I am officially going to be releasing my official 2021 NASCAR Cup Series lineup video. I know many of you probably been wondering when that is going to get released. That video is officially getting released tomorrow since most stuff has been confirmed for this year's Daytona 500 and for basically the whole season in 2021. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like us. YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would truly appreciate it. And follow me on all my social medias below, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links in the description below for that. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.